Thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank
Man, I have been enjoying your music this morning. There's a song called Act.
you. Mm-hmm.
Can we just dive right into the deep end in this interview? I want to know. Yeah, I want to know what that song is about.
I was just going back to like times where I felt like rejected or like abandoned. I feel like we all can go through like situations like that. And that's really what it was about. For me, the hard part, like after like being rejected or like abandoned or like, just like you're going to come to a point where you're going to have to like take another risk or take another chance, right? So it's like, that's why I said the show goes on. You got to keep doing it. And like, you're not going to always be rejected, but like a lot of the time, you never know. You got to keep going through it.
We get so caught up, Shamiqua, right? I mean,
yes.
I just went through a breakup, romantically. I'm just like, man, like, those hurt. Those hurt.
Yeah.
But, the truth of the matter is pretty much every relationship that I've been in, my next relationship was a better fit. I don't know if you experienced that, it's just, but I don't stop kicking and screaming when that one goes away though. Like I'm learning how to do that. So let's flip it back to art and commerce and, putting our crafts out there, because you're doing your music craft. I'm doing my podcast craft. Yeah. And it's the same type of, at the end of the day, there's similarities between the two,
Ooh.
You need people to appreciate it, get it. You hopefully, you hope that it impacts them in some kind of way. Right. And I guess, one of the things that I've learned along my path in doing it is you don't want success to happen too quickly, if I'm being honest. Can you relate to that? Because you need to get prepared so that when success does find you, it'll be like sustainable. You feel me?
Yes.
Tell me what's coming up for you when I say that.
No, yeah, because sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, how come I'm not doing this show? How come I'm not going to that festival? How come I'm not doing that? Everybody's on tour. How come I'm not getting... Trust me. Like right now, that's exactly what I'm thinking. But I know it's like I have to remind myself, okay, when I'm 24, I'm gonna want this. Like I'm gonna still want it, but I'd rather like the slow and steady progression than just like getting it all now and then having to maintain it right now. And it's like it's gonna be harder. Like I'd rather slowly obtain it. It'll feel more worthwhile,
Yes, you'll appreciate it more, and you'll have a solid foundation to your house. It's really hard to build a solid foundation to your house if you're just going 1,000 miles an hour all of a sudden. Like I can't tell you how many times where I saw an artist quickly see success with a single just out of the blue. Like they went from having like 500 fans to like huge hit single. And
that was me.
Really? Okay. But 99% of the time it went away.
When I released Act, I had like 3,000 followers on Instagram. I had like, no, I don't think I had like 1,000 streams on Spotify yet, but I deleted my Instagram account. So I basically had no fans.
Why'd you delete your account? I'm sure people listening might want to know that.
When I made that account, it was like, I didn't attract the audience I wanted. I attracted the audience that was like only there for like my looks, like my fashion. Whenever I'd post music, nobody would like, So I was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And I got mad and I just deleted it. And then I started over. And everything I did from this like account, like starting from day one, it was just music. Well, not now. Sometimes I post selfies, but like it's mostly music stuff. And
you found the audience appreciates what you're posting for the music now, right?
So it's quality over quantity. So I have a little bit of followers, but the quality of these people, like the relationships I'm building and everything, it's so like meaningful.
Kudos to you for doing that, for starting over.
Yeah, because, people who you were at the same level with, they have like 9,000, 10,000, and they have a bunch of streams and stuff. Just like, oh man, I don't have that. But it's like, okay, if I didn't delete my account, I probably wouldn't have sent it to Mariba. And if she didn't listen to it, then I probably wouldn't have released it because like I needed that encouragement and that like support. I just needed that in that moment. So it was just like perfect timing. She just had like a really heartfelt like reaction, and it was just powerful.
How do you create songs? Like, is there a consistent way that you like to create new music?
With the project that I'm working on, I just played around a lot, and it was really acoustic, and I did most of it in my room. It was like, melancholic. And I do that on my computer. before that I was doing it on my iPad. When I create, it'll be random and I'll just get in a groove and I'll be stuck there. Like sometimes I forget to eat, and like sometimes I just don't want to go to sleep, but I have to force, okay, girl, go to sleep. Like I have to tell myself. I mess around and I like something. I'm like, okay, this is really good. And then I get caught in it, and yeah.
What you just said right there is called being in the flow. They refer to that as like where you just lose track of time and everything else falls away. When you feel that way, you kind of know you're on the right path in life. I feel like your mom or somebody would be worried, oh, you're not eating. Whoa. But for somebody that knows how, I feel like for somebody that's lived some years and understands like how this works, I feel like that's such a cool thing.
That's funny. Making music started like when I would listen, and at some point I would just stop getting chills. And it was like, my body would like twitch when I heard something that was like, I don't understand it, but I like, it just hitting me like hard. Then I was like, okay, how do I make this? And then like, how can I make other people feel this? Cause I felt like something was wrong with me. And I was just like, okay, I have to figure out what this is.
I feel like I started this podcast because I realized some of life's hardest moments can kind of be like a catalyst to get us to the best version of ourselves, you know?
If it wasn't for things not going as planned and like things getting messed up along the way, I don't think like I was about to just throw the whole thing away.
So you have a project that's not out yet. And
I feel like, yeah, but it's about to come out. And I feel like the catalyst for it was things not going as planned, like such as like production and like working with other people and like depending on other people and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
You were like, waiting on like producers,
help, team, this, that.
Yeah, manager, this, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you think people are gonna help you, but it's like, okay, I don't have time for this. Like, I don't care. And it's just like that's what really pushes you. And it's like, okay, well, now we're here, but I have to see if it was the right. No, I trust it was the right decision, but it's like, no. I don't want to have regret where it's like, shouldn't have did it, should have waited.
You'll always learn, whatever, no matter what the outcome is, right?
Yeah.
When you're waiting on other people around you, you don't have a ton of control over that. That's a very disempowering place to be. So I feel like, you know, this project, like you're taking your power back. So, you know, it's gotta be good.
Yeah.
We're going to get like Shamequa in her power.
When people are like playing around with your time or just like, you know, like kind of just like putting you on the back burner, it's like, like when I was releasing all these singles and they were getting all this traction, I was doing this. The only reason why it went through is because I followed my heart. For me to have trusted people, waited on people, worked with people, like be open enough to work with people and just like, and then having that go to like trash, it's like, it hurts. And I took that pain and I said, okay, I'm going to finish this. I have what it takes. I can do it. And it's amazing. And I'm going to have another chance to do it again. And again and again and again, so I'm where I want to be. People think I'm being selfish because like, okay, you don't want to work with anybody, I worked with like a lot of people and, you know, I heard a lot of empty promises and I'm just like, okay, cute. Don't.
She's so cute.
It's just like stupid because I'm like, I really sat there and wasted my time. But now it's just like, okay, whatever. Nothing hurts me more than wasting my time.
For sure. That's beautiful that you have that awareness. But I feel like so much of the music industry, a lot of it is fear-based. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like the artist could be fear-based too, to be honest. Like the artist would be like, oh, I need this person or I'm not going to be straight. Sometimes you'll be straight without that person, but your head will mess with you or
they'll mess with your head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That you stay around and you have like these relationships, people you don't even want to have relationships with, but it's like, you got to be like headstrong. You have to have a backbone. Like you have to develop it. And this was like the biggest teaching moment for me. It's like, you got to trust your intuition. Like you just have to, because there's going to be a lot of voices, a lot of noise. If you don't want to do it, don't feel guilty. Like just walk away. Like you're made to feel bad for wanting to do things by yourself. It's like, oh, you're selfish. You're stubborn. That's what I hear.
Again, that's ego. That's really the person's ego getting caught in the mix. But you have to choose your intuition over protecting somebody else's ego. That's really the journey.
Yeah. It's not your job to, you know.
If you're not confident in yourself, your abilities, your guidance, that's really the key word, then you will waver and potentially miss something great. I think the best things that come our way in life is when we're really tuned in and following our intuition. Real talk.
No, absolutely. I agree with that. This whole thing, like working on this project, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so easy. In the beginning, I was like, this is going to be so easy.
Was it just bumpy everywhere on this project?
I was like, oh my God, what is going to happen? I don't know. Like, can't see the future.
By the way, I just thought of this, like all of that while you're dealing with the external, you're dealing with the internal, because I feel like as a creative person, you're always getting ideas, aren't you? Like, so your head is kind of busy. Your head is kind of busy as a creative person. So it's a lot, Shamiqua. It's a lot, dude.
Yes. I'm telling these people, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for this person to do this, and they're taking like a decade. And I'm just like, okay, I'm on a whole nother level now. Like my brain is completely on a new project by now. I'm doing other things in my brain. I'm like literally manifesting a different project right now. And I'm still physically on this one. Like, I don't have time for this. Like, I'm done. Stop.
And it's affecting both projects negatively, right? Yeah.
Because you get frustrated and annoyed by how slow one is going. And then like with the new one, you don't have time to fully be in a moment with, because you're in the past. That was a big thing for me too. Like,
so who do you get to channel all this with besides this podcast? Like, have you leaned on family or friends, or, because it's a lot,
To be honest with you, getting to talk about it like right now, like honestly, without people like being like, oh no, you just need to be patient. Like my grandma, she didn't even believe me. Like when I was saying, okay, like, nah, I'm not doing this. Like she didn't believe me. She was like, you need to be more patient. You're too hasty. I'm like, no, I'm not. I've been waiting for like a year.
Yeah.
So, she didn't believe me, but now she sees what I'm seeing. And it's like, all right, I should have just followed my heart from the beginning and not even said anything to anybody. So I didn't have anybody to tell until now. Like, no, I feel like no one understands. And I'm like explaining myself all the time.
This is like an exclusive interview. This is like the first time you've poured some of these feelings out, which is great. This is why I designed the podcast.
You just got to find your people. Like, that's really it. Like, and honestly, don't even look.
You got to be able to close the door on the wrong people. I think that takes more courage to be able to close the door on the wrong people. Woof. I don't know what. Yes. Why does it take courage? Like, why do you think it takes so much courage to say no to the wrong people?
Because I feel like the wrong people have access to the right things sometimes. If I'm who I think I am, and if I believe in myself, like I know that those doors will open for me eventually. Like,
yes, right there. Yo, that's going to be a clip. And I think this gem applies across the board. It's friendships, it's relationships, it's business relations, it's everything. We all need these reminders because our own heads can trick us.
Yeah. I'm not even signed yet. I have so many more people to meet and so many other things. Like,
you must have gotten a lot of inquiries, I'm sure, right? Labels, managers, things like that, right?
Yeah. And
how do you deal with that? Because dude, I promise you, there are artists listening to this right now who might have this happening, who like, they don't know how they just got 20 emails, right? And they don't know how to navigate that. I'm
going to be honest. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm the shit. People from different labels like Interscope, RCA, like Sony, everybody's like,
yeah, what's that feel like? So first feeling is I'm the shit.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. I'm famous.
That's great. That's so great.
I was saying that first, and then I was like, okay, you get to the point where it's like, okay, the hype dies down, and so do the emails. And then not only do the emails, but the demand for your attention, like for you, it's like, oh, they're not interested no more. In my head, I was like, you know what, y'all want to act like that? Like I'm like passive aggressive a little bit, so I'm like, okay, you want to act like that? I'm gonna remember everybody's name right now who's like wanting to push me on the back burner. And when y'all try to hit me up again in a couple of years talking about some, oh my gosh, come with us. No. People, they come in and it's like, oh, they come and they go, they don't respond. And it's like, oh, I want you to meet this person. I want you to, it's just a lot of phone calls. To me, it was just fun. I was like, oh my God, I'm famous.
Yeah. I know the lit.
But then, it's like when you actually start thinking about it, it's like, okay, wait, will I ever get this opportunity again? And it's like, you got to be careful not to take that to heart, because like, it's not that you're good or you're bad. It's like they saw traction come to you, and that's what they chase. They chase like traction. They chase views. Like they chase where eyes are going. And if you focus on your craft and mastering your craft, like the eyes are going to come back to you eventually.
It ends up being a blessing because you know who the real ones are from
the beginning.
Yeah, you get a gift now.
That is like the best feeling. Like there are people who I've met from like the beginning, and they have stayed with me, and like they worked with me, and they believed in me like from the minute they found out who I was. And it's like, those are the people that like, anything that happens, I'm calling them. Anything could happen for me, it's for us. Like, it's not like stuff like that. It just means so much to me because it's just rare to have real people there. So like, you gotta hang on to the people who really like
your day ones.
But some people pretend, and you find out sooner than later.
One of my favorite quotes is by, Maya Angelou, the poet.
Yeah.
So she said, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
Somebody hits you up like all excited, and then you don't hear from them after like 5 emails or whatever. Like, then they're showing you who they are. You know what I mean? Like when you're popping again and then they come back around, you know what I mean? Like they're showing you who they are. So
yeah,
everybody's on their own journey, man. I try, sometimes I could be a little petty LaBelle about somebody, but I try and keep it, on the higher path or whatever, too.
Yeah. Just leave everything on a high note. It's hard though. Where'd you go, friend? They found somebody who was also making numbers. Then they're going to come back with new numbers. So and then though, they only like notice what you're doing when other people, somebody else who's bigger, shares it or talks about it or likes it. So you said like you were an executive. What happened? Why?
Because honestly, dude, when I was in my 20s, it was like I could deal, the music game is like this. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That's the music game. I think when I was in my 20s, I could deal a little better. My stomach was okay, like for this. But as I got in my 30s, I'm just, by mid 30s, dude, I was like, nah, I want to carve out something more stable, So I just feel like now, I'm getting my master's in clinical psychology, and I want to help, keep creatives more stable and help them get insight and all that good stuff. That feels like a more stable path. I just alchemized my music career because when it ended, it was super, super painful for me because I was all in. This was my identity, Shamiqua. So when that shit blew up towards the end, there's a saying that I love, which is let go or be dragged. So, when something's like, it's like, can you relate to that? When something wants to go and you're just like, no, I'm hanging on. And then your whole body's getting bruised up by hanging on. I finally let go, and I had to go into this place of like 3 years of just like, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. Super scary. And then out popped this whole new path, which has just been amazing. The podcast and the degree and helping coach creative people. Like, I just got to stop for a second. I'm so grateful. I have so much gratitude because, what I thought was my life ending was actually just my life beginning. So really like the death of something is the birth of something.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I would say like, okay, maybe it could be similar because, okay, I just finished high school and I've been doing that for a long time. And like the whole school thing, I'm just like, I don't know about that. I kind of feel like stuck. So I'm like, okay, I want to do music, but I don't want to force it. What is my path? Like, it's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. It's like, which one? And then it's like, I don't just want to do music. I'm the type of person who wants to learn like everything, like everywhere. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, I need to have like a stable plan. Like, you know what I mean? And
there's fear of like, okay, I knew this way for a long time, and now this way is dying out and a new way is being born. And I'm not quite sure what that new way is yet. We all have those moments, dude. I don't care what age you are. You could have that moment at 60. Like, I mean, people do. Absolutely. So it's about trying to deal with those moments more gracefully. And, that's also one of the things I like to cover in the podcast, bro. It's like, everybody has these moments. And when we talk about having these moments, it kind of lightens the load for somebody listening that might be in one of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Feels like, man, you've had a busy life. You've had a lot of twists and turns. Like,
No,
I think it's just making for better music, though. At the end of the day, to me, it's just going to end up in the songwriting.
it has actually. I did. Yeah, I did end up writing like some songs about it. You never know. You never know where life is going to take you. That's why I'm like, scary.
Right there. And all we want as humans is to like keep things the way we've known them. We like hate change.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny, man. And the only constant in life is change. You realize that. So we're fighting with nature. And I think it has a lot of us depressed and anxious and does us no good when, like we said earlier, just to bring it full circle, earlier in our conversation, Shamika, we said, what is leaving your life? The next thing that is coming into your life could be 10 times better.
And like, I feel like most times it really is.
This is not like, what's the word? Like, cliche bullshit talk. This is like real shit,
Yeah. Like most times it is like, and you don't even remember the thing that you were like hanging on to because that's how good, like the new thing. I don't know why that fear is just so like, it's just heavy. Like the fear of the unknown, like the fear.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It is. That's why we got to keep reminding each other. I think the more reminders we get, the more graceful we can move through these chapters. Yeah. Well, this is amazing. So I love how deep we got, man. It feels like we just dove into the deep end of the pool off rip. So thank you for doing that with me. What's the upcoming project? What can people look out for? And
I released like a bunch of like stuff, and it's like, I just want people to have something to like listen to. Like I just released The Show Goes On, and that's the collection of the live stuff that I did. And everybody thinks it's the EP, like the official one that I've been talking about, but it's not that. That's coming out soon. I'm excited. Yeah. And I don't know. I just got invited to do a show with somebody crazy. So I'm excited. That's coming too. A lot of stuff's sort of happening. But like the EP, I feel like since quarantine happened, everybody's had to been forced to be a little more like introspective, ask themselves questions.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like writing those songs, it was more like I talked about the things that I talked about with you, but I coded them. Like
it's more abstract than like the conversation we're having right now, obviously.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
But it's exactly about staying somewhere that doesn't feel right, but it's like everybody's saying, okay, maybe you should be patient, be more patient, don't be so stubborn. But it's like, okay, then you finally decide, girl, bye. So yeah, and that's how it was. Just all the songs are just about just changing, like pressure to be productive. I sing about going up in Staten Island and some like deep stuff like self-harm and like, just being bullied and stuff like that. I made like a song as a mantra, just like for when you for overthinkers, like just certain things don't matter. It's called It Doesn't Matter. And then it's just, as a package, the whole thing's really just about coming out of the cocoon of like who you were. Because I feel like that's where
it sounds like to me, if I had to say one word, what it's about, to me, it's about trusting in why you're here and what you're here to do.
Yeah. And what's crazy about you saying that, like trusting, it's kind of like trusting your purpose. I was walking down the street one day, like a few weeks ago, and I met this girl and she just stopped me and she said, do you want to take a picture? And I was like, okay, yeah, let's take some pictures.
A random?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Okay. I don't remember when the last time that happened to me was. That's what I had to ask. But
And she was just saying, take your time. Like she just was like, that's all she was saying. Like, just take your time. It's not about success. It's about your purpose. She was just saying that. And she was like, just take your time. And I just thought it was weird because like I was recording, like walking home and I was just talking to myself, kind of like therapy with myself. I was kind of like upset. I was just saying to God, I just want to be firm in my direction and not my speed. Because I feel like the speed is like the huge pressure. And like 10 minutes later, I just bumped into this girl and she's just telling me that.
Come on. You were literally having this dialogue in your head of like.
Yeah, 10 minutes ago. Like 10 minutes before I walked into this girl. Actually speaking, I'm bawling. I'm bawling my eyes out. So I'm just like, oh my God, that's like God telling me, like, girl, you're gonna be okay. Like, you just gotta focus on like your intention with like your music, what you're trying to say, your message.
I kind of got some chills going on right now from you saying that. In my process of building what I'm building too, it's like I keep reminding myself, and I think this is God speaking to me, is craft over scoreboard. Focus on the craft over the scoreboard. You feel me?
Yes.
Because you're just gonna get better and better and better, right? It's like it's gonna hit, and it takes time for people to adopt, right? It just takes time. That's just how it works. Even if you're amazing, Frank Ocean, who I think is incredible. Like, I had his manager on the podcast, and I was like, "How? Like, Frank is so brilliant to me. How did it take longer than 5 minutes for him to be a rock star? He's so good." And he's like, people that are doing something a little bit different, people don't recognize that. They kind of overlook it. You know what I mean? Like, they have their head down just thinking it's one way. So he's like, the people that like aren't being adopted immediately, that's amazing if you're not being adopted immediately, because it means you're doing something different and special. So just be patient. I guess you're getting another message from the universe.
Yeah.
We both are. We're both reminding each other right now.
That's awesome. I love this. Cool. I do.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. And I feel like in a year, you're going to be like doing some crazy shows. So thank you for coming on now.
Thank you. I literally like just saw the email. Like, my emails were just messed up and I didn't even see the emails. But
no, this happened right when it was supposed to. It feels like you were in the zone to make this a really special interview. Where can people find you? My
Instagram is Shamiqua's MP4. My YouTube is Shamiqua.
Okay, go check her out. She's ridiculous. Thank you so much for, opening up, sharing your truth. That means so much. And blessings on the journey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next episode.
Right. Bye.
Amazing.